I had created it when I was gaining momentum in my career. And so I had included things like start a podcast, and it was just very career focused. And, even things like have a baby, like, because I felt like if I put it on Dream Board, it's got to happen. And, earlier this year, my dad passed away and found out that I couldn't have kids. And so all of these dreams that I had were all of a sudden kind of like went poof.
Hi, welcome to Sharing with Susan B, telling stories from the heart. We're looking to inspire, telling stories of struggle, vulnerability, and lessons learned. Hi, welcome. I'm Susan Blaine, and I'm here with Michaela Alexis. I've been very excited to have her as a guest because she's been an inspiration to me for her powerful vulnerability online. Just a little bit about Micheala. She's a millennial LinkedIn master. She's a keynote speaker, espresso-fueled entrepreneur. I love that. You're also an author of Think Video, Smart Video Marketing and Influencing, which is cool. And can I say this big number? She has 144,000 followers on LinkedIn. I mean, that in its own, on its own is quite remarkable. You do some volunteering in the community with the Girls and Boys Club. Your dad also has a not-for-profit, which is the Black Canadian Scholarship Fund, which was recently renamed in his honor. And Micheala wanted to be the tooth fairy when she was younger.
I still kind of
You
do.
still want to be. I want to know why you wanted to be the tooth fairy.
I mean, you get to dress up in cool outfits, like fairy costumes, and give people money and make them smile.
That's true. And you were a cast member at the Disney store at the Rideau Center, so you're kind of playing that out. But interesting in terms of your study. You studied at Carleton University for 6 years. You studied 3 years of film and 3 years of legal studies. And then you became a marketing guru. So that's an interesting segue. You were marketing directors at Ottawa Venue, social media manager at CLV, marketing manager at Grade A, and then you had the big title, president of Grade A Digital. Then you walked away from all that. Now you call yourself the girl with no title.
I'm loving it.
Tell us about what you're really passionate about right now.
I'm really passionate about helping people realize that there's more on the other side of fear. I think for myself, I always was that person that followed all the rules, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, I had all the good grades and graduated with distinctions and did all the things, right?
Checked all the boxes.
Checked all the boxes. And I started to realize over time that there was no blueprint.
Were you happy?
I mean, I was happy to a point. I would get to a point where I would feel that frustration because I'm like, well, if I'm doing all these things, then how come all these rule breakers are, jet setting across the world and, living their best lives while I'm here at like 7 o'clock.
Slaving.
Yeah, like in the office still trying to get that last document finished, So that was kind of... that was a moment where I was like, there has to be more. Is there more than this?
Yeah.
Or is there something wrong with me? And I think that's where a lot of people end up, and they just don't go beyond that point where they just kind of come to the conclusion that there's something wrong with them.
Struggle as an entrepreneur. It's a big leap to go from paying gig with the big title and to go off on your own. And there's struggles that come along with that. I'm a new entrepreneur myself, and I coined the term solopreneur after I heard you speak.
Love it.
But what's been one of your biggest professional struggles as an entrepreneur?
When I first started working solo, I think the hardest part for me was having to announce it was really tough. So because my audience is so big, I mean, it was great having 100,000 cheerleaders.
How do you get to 100,000 followers on LinkedIn? I think it's because you're just so brave in putting yourself out there and being vulnerable.
Yeah, I think I try to be very candid with my experiences, and I think that we spend so much time at work, and yet so many of us are afraid to talk about our experiences, and I've been really open. So I call myself like a career blogger or vlogger, and we're all kind of curious to see what goes on in other people's lives, and I feel like a lot of people can see their journey and my journey, and so they followed along, and that was great until I had to go online and say I achieved the dream and it wasn't my dream anymore, and that was tough. Most people were really supportive, but there were people that were disappointed in me because, again, they felt like their path was alongside mine, and all of a sudden I was kind of deserting them.
Yeah.
And so I realized that I did have like a responsibility to people to be honest and open and vulnerable. And then this past year, it's really been the loneliness, right?
Yeah.
It's hard when you're a solopreneur
It
to
is
think
hard.
that
Yeah.
you think that it's you, right? I remember the very first rejection that I got. I truthfully cried for probably about an hour. And then I realized something, that I wasn't the business, I was running a business. They weren't saying no to Micheala, they were
No.
saying no to my services. And that was a really important distinction for me because it's so easy to take it personally.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. And how important is niching yourself down
Oh gosh.
to get that perfect audience? Because
Yeah.
even though you have 144,000 followers, you still need to monetize your business, right?
Absolutely. When I started, I coined myself a personal branding and LinkedIn expert. And within a few months, I said, I don't want to do all personal branding. I need to just niche down into LinkedIn. And then I got even more dangerously niche. And now I've been really focusing on LinkedIn pages, specifically in helping small to medium sized businesses, which is so rewarding because I can help them with their personal brands, but also help them incorporate that into the corporate brand. And that's been really fun to watch people step out from beyond their notepads or their computers, stop hiding behind their work and really showcasing their personality through the corporate brand has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you niched down, because I know a couple of months
scary.
ago you were even thinking about, oh gosh, is this for me? And should I go back and get a job?
Yeah, it's hard to figure out, is this something that is valuable to the marketplace?
Yeah.
Or am I positioning myself inappropriately? And for me, my husband is a government worker. And so he was like, well, maybe there just isn't a market for LinkedIn. I'm like, I don't think that's
I don't
the
believe
case.
it. I don't believe it.
I truly believed in what I was doing.
Yes.
I just felt like I wasn't hitting the spot perfectly.
You
And
just
so-
hadn't nailed it yet, but you kept on. You kept at it.
And if you're an entrepreneur, you're a scientist.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to be a scientist,
I
you're
love
going to have a tough time.
when we were talking on Friday, you said that to me. You said, you're a scientist, because I said I'm really in the R&D stage of creating a brand, and and I hadn't heard that before. I love that. What about personal struggle? I know this has been, you do a dream board and you designed your year this year, but it didn't kind of roll out that way.
Yeah, I've been looking at that dream board and I decided to erase most of the things that were on there because I had created it when I was gaining momentum in my career. And so I had included things like start a podcast, and it was just very career focused. And, even things like have a baby, like, because I felt like if I put it on dream board, it's got to happen. And, earlier this year, my dad passed away and found out that I couldn't have kids. And so all of these dreams that I had were all of a sudden kind of like went poof. And I had to be okay with where I was rather than just constantly chasing that next thing.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's very addicted.
That's a great lesson.
Yeah,
That's a great
it's so
lesson.
easy to put down a list of, okay, if all these things happen, then I'm going to be happy. It's much harder to take a look internally and say, I'm good.
I'm happy exactly where I am. Is that the lesson, the takeaway for you?
I'm grateful for every single day. There's
Gratitude is magical.
Yeah, there's things that I've lost, but I've gained so much perspective over the past year, and I'm just really grateful every day to wake up and not have to worry about my health and not have to worry about shelter and like little things that before I kind of didn't notice.
Yeah. Well, there's real magic in that, right? There's a lot of power in that act of gratitude, keeping that sense of gratitude. And you wouldn't be in this place of gratitude had these things not happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough way to learn it. That's
It
kind
is.
of, life is funny like that. The perspective that you need is sometimes it comes after the hardest parts of your life.
It's the toughest parts. It's the toughest struggle. It's when you're really stuck in the thick of it that life really reveals its greatest lessons. So good for you. And just at the right time.
Yes.
What advice would you share with someone who's looking to build an online business right now?
I think that there's a lot of people that think that they can't build a business if they didn't wake up born thinking that they could. I know for myself, I am what I call a reluctant entrepreneur. I'm very safe. I like to play it safe. I don't like taking risks. I like to be the person that follows the rules for the most part. But I felt like I didn't quite fit into the corporate world, and I just always felt like a misfit. And
Me too.
And I think that sometimes people feel like you either need to know for sure
Yeah.
that you need to go chase that thing or stay put.
Can you know? Yeah, but isn't it true that you can kind of evolve?
You can,
right?
and it's baby steps too, right?
Yeah.
For me, I didn't just jump into LinkedIn training and speaking around the world. I started off by writing articles on LinkedIn on my weekends.
Yeah.
Right, and then over time, years went by, and it slowly developed into this thing.
And that's an important point, right? Because a lot of people think, wow, it happens overnight, or aren't you so lucky? And it's like, no, actually, there was some time, invested time, and some struggle that went.
It looks like a leap. It
does.
looks like a leap, but it's really those baby steps that you take every single day. So I always tell people, I'm like, make yourself break out in nervous hives, because when I'm nervous, I break out in hives up to my ears.
Me too.
And so
that's a good thing.
Yeah,
you know you're stretching. You know
the best way to stretch yourself is to do things, and it doesn't have to be with work. It can be as simple as go take improv classes or just do things that scare you, and then your body will and your mind will get used to pushing yourself and doing things that you think that you can't do.
Yeah,
and it somehow translates into, I don't know if you're like this,
well, it extends, it evolves you that much more, right? You just believe that so much more is possible when when you've survived the stretching.
I certainly know that with entrepreneurship, all of a sudden my fear of heights, like all these fears that I had, started to disappear, because I was like, well, I'm already on this roller coaster, so I might as well get on that
that's
one.
right. I jumped there. I made it. Let's have some fun with some rapid fire questions so we can learn a little bit more about Micheala. I don't know if we can, because she shared so much, but just some fun questions.
I'm kind of an open book.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Wonder Woman.
Of course she is. Favorite food indulgence?
Oh, I love a good pizza.
Yeah. Someone you admire?
My mom.
Yeah. Something not too many people know about you. Is there anything?
I don't think a lot of people know that I'm biracial, because I don't look it at all. My dad is originally from Trinidad. He moved to Canada in his 30s, and I am actually one of 7 siblings. Yeah, so I come from a very big family, and it's usually like, where's Waldo in the photos, because there's just like this blonde, fair-skinned girl in the middle of this family.
What's something that always makes you smile?
Oh, gosh. My dogs.
Oh,
My dogs are just the cutest.
What's your definition of success in one sentence?
Living a life that's true to you.
Yeah. Now you're certainly doing that. And you're inspiring a lot of us, Micheala, along the way. So thank you for that. You can find out more about Micheala. She is everywhere, but her main platform is LinkedIn.
Yes.
She also has a free LinkedIn profile checklist that I really encourage you to check out. She's has a great website. We'll post that here. LinkedIn profile. You've got a company page. You've got a Facebook page. You're on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere.
And I'm a huge fan, and I love Micheala's posts, and I've been inspired by her for a long time. So I'm really happy that you joined us today, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to your story and be inspired by what you shared today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Woo! Gratitude is magic.
Yes.